What's happening, Bigger Pockets? It's Matt Faircloth. So there are a lot of folks on BP that are either current college students or just got out of college or just I mean, geez, student loans are still around. You can get, I know people in their 40s that still have student loans, right? So it doesn't have to be fresh out of college, but there's a lot of people that are fresh out of college or currently in college that ask this question: should I pay off my student loans or should I invest in real estate? Okay, now, don't stop watching this if you don't have student loans. You should be forwarding this video to other folks that you have that do have student loans in your community, because today's a conversation about how real estate investing can play a part in paying off your student loans, okay? So let's talk about what's going on. A lot of folks in America have student loans that they had to get to pay to go to college, right? And maybe those loans were taken out by their parents before they went to school. Maybe the student themselves is the guarantor on the loan. Whatever it is, when they graduate, I mean, there's something like 2 trillion or 1.5 trillion in student loans in our country right now. So there's a lot of money. It's actually becoming a systemic problem. Let's not go there right now, but the student loan debt is increasing and increasing. And so that means a lot of people are facing it. So the question is, should I pay that off, then start investing, or vice versa, right? So here's my thoughts on that, okay? The first thing that you might want to consider when you start talking about paying off your student loans is your credit score. Your student loans can pull down your credit, especially if you haven't paid them in a minute, if you missed a payment or two or whatever it is. It can affect your credit. So the first thing you want to do is check your credit, okay? Check your credit to see, is your credit score super low, because maybe all you have is bad debt. And student loans, it's not bad debt, it's just debt, okay? And if you can't show a good payment history on that debt, then it might be pulling your credit score down. There's other things you can do to pull it up, like, obviously just making regular payments on it and showing that you're a good debt payer. So if you just got out of school and you haven't started paying on the student loans yet, obviously that may pull down your credit. So you got to go get some good debt in your wheelhouse. Maybe get a small credit card and show that you can make monthly payments on the card to increase your credit score. Not saying getting into more debt's a good thing, but you're really focused on getting a good credit score, because you might not have a good enough credit score to buy real estate. You need to have something in the mid to high 6s, and even better if you're in the 7s, in the 700 credit score range or above, to have enough credit to buy real estate, to get a bankable loan. You obviously need to have income and all those other things, but assuming you have good income, and check your credit to make sure that you're even bankable. And you could talk to a banker to say, hey, I've got these student loans, would you still lend to me on a rental property? Okay, see what the bank says, okay? The next conversation has to do, and I got this by playing Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, okay? You should look at the return on investment of an investment property versus what it costs for debt, okay? And what I figured out by playing that board game many moons ago is that if I bought a piece of real estate and that returned me 15%, okay? That 15% beats the return on investment that I get if I pay off my student loan at 6%. Okay, and I could even take the cash flow from the rental property and maintain my student loan with it. So if I've got $20,000 that I could go and pay off my student loan with, right? Maybe I'm better off taking that 20 grand and buying a rental property if I have the credit to qualify for a loan, okay? Taking the cash flow from that rental property, and if it cash flows $300 a month, and the student loan debt's $140, okay? I can take that $300 a month, pay off the student loan, maintain the debt on the student loan, okay? And pocket the other $160 a month, or whatever that math works out to be, right? So that's how you can handle student loans, is to use the ROI calculation to figure, can I take the cash flow to pay, or can I just instead of investing in paying the student loan, can I just buy a rental property? You need to calculate what the return on investment is for paying down the loan. You're going to just do that by saying, okay, if I've got $20,000 to pay off the loan, that will remove and the monthly payments. Let's say the monthly payment's $100 a month. Okay, so it'll remove that $100 a month payment. Okay, times 12. That's $1,200 a year. So if I take $20,000 and pay off a student loan, that's going to save me $1,200 a year. That return, I believe, quick math, is 6%. Okay, so that's a 6% return. Okay, if I take that 20K, and I invested in something that's going to return me 300, okay, that's going to make that times 12. That's going to make me 3,600 a year. Okay, I can then service that debt with it, and that's going to be an 18% return. Super fast numbers right there, but that's a quick evaluation that you should be making on the return on investment of paying down the debt versus buying a rental property. Here's what I did, okay? Because I was 26, 27 years old just a couple of years ago, and my first rental property was a house hack, okay? Okay, and along with my book, Raising Private Capital, you should check out Scott Trench's book, Set for Life, which talks all about house hacks, okay? But what you should do, this is what I did. I bought a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath at like 27 years old. I bought that property, $150,000. Bought it, and my mortgage payment was $940 a month. I bought it on a 3% down FHA backed mortgage, and so I laid down $4,500 plus closing costs. So maybe all in like $8 or $9 grand. Okay, all in to buy the property. I then went and rented 2 of the rooms in the house back to 2 friends of mine that both paid me $500 a month plus a third of expenses. Okay, a third of water, sewer, electric, and whatnot on the property. Okay, so they both were paying me $500. I made it. So I was making $1,000. Okay, my mortgage was $940. So I was making $60 a month. But guess what? I was also living there for free. Okay, I had a good job at the time, and so I took the income I was making from my job, and in 2 years, I paid off all my student loans. I paid off all my credit cards. I got myself bad debt free in 2 years. So I highly recommend that you do this equation, but you parlay it up with a house hack. Okay, because you can take what earned income you have that you were typically putting towards your housing expense and drill down that debt with it. Okay, so by 29 years old, all my student loans paid off, all my bad debt gone. Okay, and so that's impressive. Given, I mean, unfortunately in America, that's how long it. I mean, people are in their 40s that still have student loans. It is what it is. But this is a house hack is a good way to get yourself out of that because you can get into a low money down mortgage. Okay, ROI is off the charts and lease out some units. I only wish I had bought a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex because you can house hack up to 4 units. Okay, you can get low money down. So even if you live in an area where fourplexes are very expensive, you still only have to have enough money to lay 3% down, get the seller to pay all the closing costs through something called a seller assist. Okay, so you only have to come up with 3%. Get in, buy the property, and your tenants are all going to help you pay that mortgage, and most likely your living expenses are going to be less than they would if you were just paying rent somewhere. Okay, take that delta in living expenses and attack those student loans, get them paid off. Okay, I'm speaking to those that have student loans. I'm also speaking to those that know people that do. Recommend this, share the video, buy them a copy of Scott Trench's Set for Life book because it's a phenomenal book and it's something that talks a lot about this house hack concept. Okay. So again, and you might not be in I want to address one more thing before I go. You might not be in a circumstance where a house hacking is okay because maybe you got a wife and a couple of kids and living in a 4-family would put you in a 2-bedroom with your wife and a couple of kids. So maybe your living situation doesn't allow for a house hack. If that's the case and you still want to use real estate investing to pay off your student loan, just go out and buy a rental and buy with an ROI that's higher than the ROI would be for paying off your student loans. That's the way to go. If you are single or married with no kids or married with kids and are willing to live in a rental and live in your rental, this is by far hands down the way to go. And it's the leverage you can do that I use that I think you could use too to pay off your student loans and get yourself bad debt free and also cut your teeth on landlording. Okay? So that's what I got, guys. Please leave some thoughts and comments down below. Love to hear from you guys and get into a chatter about this thing. Appreciate you. Check out my book, Raising Private Capital, BP. Live Private Money is the coupon code to get 20% off in the BP store on the book. So make sure you check that out. Have a great and profitable week, guys.